Hello once again, dear viewers. You're watching ERi-TV. Welcome to our news broadcast. Here are the headlines. President Isias Afwerki sends message of congratulations to Russia. President Vladimir Putin as Russia celebrates Russia Day. Calls to reinforce educational provision for girls in photo subzone. 9 people killed, 10 wounded in Somalia hotel siege. Wildfire spreads in Canada's British Columbia as Quebec stabilizes. In our domestic news, President Isias Afwerki sent a message of congratulations on behalf of the government and people of Eritrea to President Vladimir Putin and to the people and government of Russia on the occasion and celebrations of Russia Day. In his message, President Isias stated that the occasion is indeed an opportune and timely moment for humanity to ponder on the trajectory that the global community must chart out in the coming crucial years to ensure that the enormous technological progress achieved is leveraged and marshaled to improve the quality of life for all mankind under new, fair and sustainable international order conducive to economic growth, peace and stability. President Isias also expressed that these were the themes that both leaders had the opportunity to discuss during their meeting in Moscow earlier this month. In that respect, President Isias stated his confidence that the bilateral ties and fruitful consultations on international matters of mutual interest will grow in the period ahead. The President of the National Union of Eritrean Women, Mr. Tesfa Mikhail, called for enhanced educational provision for girls. She made the remarks during a meeting she conducted with the residents of the Foro subzone on 7 June. Mr. delivered an extensive speech on the heroic feat the Eritrean women demonstrated during the armed struggle for independence, as well as in safeguarding the national sovereignty, and called for that heroic feat to be demonstrated in education and provide the women with formal and informal education, noting that the government and the union are exerting strong efforts in empowering women through education and skills that have proved successful. Mr. called for the eradication of harmful traditional practices and underage marriages that are the main cause of school dropout among girls. Ms. Jama'a Raki, head of the National Union of Eritrean Women branch in the Northern Eritrea region on her part, called on mothers to send their daughters to school. Participants on their part expressed readiness to support the activities of the union and called for the organization of training programs and microcredit opportunities for women. In related news, a workshop on leadership and management has been organized by the National Union of Eritrean Women branch in the Central Region from 7 to 9 June. At the conclusion of the workshop, conducted for 40 members, Ms. Elsa Gabrahanis, head of Social and Economic Services at the branch office, called on the trainees to practically apply the skills they have learned and become role models in their society. Solar-powered potable water supply project as well as a solar electric generator has been put in place in Abreshao, Logo Ansaba subzone. Both projects have started providing partial service, alleviating the livelihood of the residents as well as the development of the area. Speaking to ERINA, coordinators of the project stated that the potable water supply project put in place includes 2 distribution centers, the installation of 1.5-kilometer long pipeline, the construction of a reservoir with a capacity of 200 barrels, as well as 20-panel electricity generating solar power. What remains now is the installation of electricity meters within households. After inspecting the project, Mr. Abraham Hagos, administrator of Logo Ansaba subzone, said that the government-supported project was initiated by the people and commenced all parties for their contribution. Abreshao is located 8 kilometers east of Aden Aman. The Eritrean National War Disabled Veterans Association branch in the UK has extended material support to its members in Eritrea subzone worth over 162,000 nakfa. At the handing over ceremony conducted on 8 June at ASEAN administrative area, Mr. Abraham Kefletian, head of the rehabilitation and reorganizations at the association, said that 12 war disabled veterans have been extended with 5 beehives, 2 honey extractors, as well as 10,000 nakfa each. The branch head of the association in the central region, Mr. Habtet Sva-Mikhail, on his part, stated that the objective of the support extended is to enable the members to become economically self-supportive, and commended the members in the UK for their contribution. Mr. Saare Hadrazgi, area administrator of Adi Shakha and Adangoba, on his part, commended the members for their contribution and further called on nationals inside the country and abroad to emulate the noble act. Those are domestic news. Please stay tuned now for the international news right after the short break. Police in Somalia say 9 people, including 3 soldiers, were killed in Friday night's extremist attack on a beachside hotel in the capital, Mogadishu. The police statement said 10 other people were wounded while 84 people were rescued from the hour-long assault that ended early Saturday morning. Al-Qaeda's East African affiliate Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the attack. The Somalia-based extremist group is known for carrying out attacks on hotels and other high-profile locations in Mogadishu, usually starting with a suicide bombing. Witnesses said some people were trapped inside the Pearl Beach Hotel, which is popular with government officials. The Lido Beach area is one of Mogadishu's most popular. Wildfires spread in the western Canadian province of British Columbia yesterday, while hundreds of fires continue to burn on the other side of the country in Quebec, sending wildfire smoke billowing across North American cities. Around 2,500 people were told to evacuate the community of Tumbler Ridge in northeastern British Columbia on Thursday afternoon. Officials also expanded evacuation orders for the Donny Creek fire, the second largest recorded in the province in the Peace River region. Meanwhile, allies around the world have promised to increase their help to Canada in its fight against hundreds of blazes that have swept through the country in its worst ever start to wildfire season. Forest fires have been gathered strength over the last month and have forced tens of thousands of people from their homes and sent a smoky haze billowing over a large swath of U.S. About 4.3 million hectares have already burned, roughly 15 times the annual average of the past decade. Warm, dry conditions are expected to persist in the months ahead. Honduras President Xiomara Castro, who is currently on a 6-day official visit to China, has formally requested the country's admission to the BRICS-led New Development Bank. Headquartered in Shanghai, the New Development Bank was set up in 2015 by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, collectively known as the BRICS countries. Honduras and China launched diplomatic relations after Castro cut ties with Taiwan to bid for more investment and jobs from the much larger Chinese economy. Last month, announcements were made that both sides would soon begin trade talks with coffee, said to be the first Honduran export to the massive Chinese consumer market. Russia's foreign ministry said yesterday that it had summoned the Japanese ambassador over Tokyo's decision to supply military equipment to Ukraine. Japan, which has backed Western sanctions against Russia, last month promised Ukraine around 100 military-use vehicles, such as trucks, having previously given protective equipment such as helmets and bulletproof vests. However, Moscow said Tokyo was supplying armored vehicles as well as all-terrain vehicles. Analysts from Japanese side said that this step would lead to an escalation of hostilities and a further increase in the number of human casualties of the Kiev regime. Japan's export rules ban its countries from selling a lethal item overseas. Please stay tuned for a recap of tonight's headlines. President Xi sends message of congratulations to President Vladimir Putin. Calls to reinforce educational provision for girls in photo subzone. 9 killed, 10 wounded in Somalia hotel siege. Wildfire spread in Canada's British Columbia as Quebec stabilizes. Those are news. It is good night from us.